what's this offseason just been like for you, getting ready to kind of ramp back up for this spring?
Just the fall in general?
Yeah.
Or, fall's been good, just really been working on the sinker changeup combination. Kind of went away from the slider just for the part of this fall. Learning to play the changeup off of that sinker, and then soon added that slider back in along with the four seam. So, just being able to mix all those pitches really well, it's going to be really important for me to do that this spring.
You look like you put on a little bit of good weight this offseason too. I mean, how much have you put into your body, and what types of things did you do over the summer as far as the regimen was concerned too?
Yeah, so for the summer, after USA ended, I went home, ate a lot. Mom's cooking was pretty good. And coming back here, just hitting the weights hard. Mike's been awesome since we've been back. And, lifting 3, 4, soon to be 4 times a week, that's allowed me to put on all this muscle, all this weight. And even the coaches mentioned it, and I didn't even notice. Like, I came back weighing like 197. I was like thinking I was getting a little fat, but they were like, no, it looks like it's really good weight, so that's important to me.
Speaking of the summer, you started a little bit in the Cape Cod League. What did you learn from that experience?
I learned a lot about the routine needed to, start every 7 days. In the Cape, it was a little different. I started one game, had like a 5-day break, and then had a 4-day break, which I went 4 innings and then 5, and then opened one game before going to USA. But I learned how important it is to get on that starting routine, learning how to take care of your body throughout starts, and, just being able to carry myself.
How much of it is a goal for you to get the rotation this year?
It's a big goal of mine. I was hoping to do it last year, but I didn't perform the way I wanted to. And the 3 guys who started the whole year, they were really good. And it's just been one of my goals, and I'm excited to hopefully get to it this year.
What did you learn about kind of last year, how it went personally for you that you can kind of use just moving forward?
Yeah, the start of last year was a struggle mentally and physically. Not being able to find the zone, giving up a lot of hits, home runs. Well, I blew a lead against Liberty and Canisius, and I just took time. And honestly, I talked about it to the whole team. I talked about leaving what happens at the field. When I was struggling at the start, I couldn't go home and have a night to myself where I wasn't thinking about the struggles I was having. And when I went on, just realized, just leave it at the field, move on to the next day, and that's when I really started to see myself succeed more. So that was important to me.
How did you kind of do that? How did you kind of leave what happened here, whether it was a good outing or bad outing, that you can go home and come back the next day as if it was no matter what happened?
Just put myself in a good mindset, and talking with Coach Chrysler, that was his words that he told me every day. Because he saw it on my face when I'd come in. Like, I didn't have the same energy I usually bring to practice. Like, in practice, I've got all this energy. I'm running around the outfield during BP, and I stopped doing that. I was just kind of standing out there by myself, just not really talking to anyone. So he noticed that, came up to me, talked to me, and he was like, dude, we're gonna keep putting you back out there. You're gonna figure it out. That's when my confidence kind of built up more, knowing that they're gonna just keep putting me back out there. And when I started to succeed more, that's what I thought about.
What do you feel like was the biggest change for you to get into more of a starter's mindset as opposed to a guy coming out of the bullpen?
Yeah, coming out of the pen, it's a lot different than starting because, in the pen you have to ramp up super fast, be able to go for, honestly, the next hitter if you can be. But, being a starter, switching from being a reliever to a starter, like I said, from the Cape, it's a little bit of it's a different role. But getting that routine every 7 days, lift-wise, you'll have a different lift schedule on days that other people are pitching and you're not. Just getting into that mindset that you're starting this year and just changing all that.
As your career, you went from the lockdown role with Smith, and then now you're morphing. Has this progressed the way you'd hoped it would? And what are the gains to be made in 26?
Yeah, it's definitely a progression I was looking for. Going from throwing with D-Rock the first 2 years to now being a starter, it's definitely something that I've been looking forward to. Like I said, last year didn't get the opportunity to do it, but looking forward to this year, getting that starting role.
Anything else for Jacob? No?